think a lot about the many worlds I've made, many restarts I've done, and the many mod packs I've tried, always searching for the peak Minecraft experience that included everything that I could ever ask for. I first entered Minecraft on my own in the snow biome back in 2012, where I built this massive box of a house out of only spruce planks. The floors were connected by platforms you would parkour through, with nothing at the top, because of it, I had nothing to do up there. All my chest could fit on the bottom floor. But once I got that whole thing set up, I have maybe a single memory of ever opening up that world again. Because I saw maybe half that idea realized, but couldn't refine the idea that gave me the drive to build it in the first place. Fast forward to today, where I'm playing with Create, which is an industry and automation heavy mod with mine colonies. And that one has these people you see running around and the jobs they do. It's funny, this world you currently see is actually the fourth take on just this combination of mods. Having restarted every single time I found a new mod that would either break my save if I added it, or I wanted the terrain generation to actually be where I built my base. I started with mine colonies, or actually, if you go back further, I started with a millionaire, because I love the idea of a world that is filled with folks and liveliness, and the villagers already in there, and them only interacting with you to trade or breed wasn't really it. I wanted to see their happiness, wants, needs. But then every time I got into it, I remember either not getting it to work properly or being too lazy to actually put in the work to configure it how I wanted and how it needed to be to work with the other mods and how I wanted to make my experience. My colonies worked where Millionaire failed for me, but it was more of the same. Building a few of the initial buildings, my initial folks replaced at least 10 times before I got a guard tower, just dying. And then nothing. It would be months before I opened that world again. Now, part of that can be attributed to life, right? In middle and high school, I was really hell-bent on getting into a really good college. And I somehow managed that while also being a Civ 5 nut and being head over heels in love with Technic, a selection of mod packs that got big before CurseForge was a thing. When I actually got to school, I remember bringing my desktop with me. I mean, I built the thing. It was my baby, and it allowed me to continue on my search for a good Minecraft mod pack, while also being a relatively good computer for anything intensive I would need to do. A mistake, though. This time, less able to manage school, work, Minecraft, now say Skylines, because why not? I'm the city builder, relationships, and most importantly, but least focused on, a sense of purpose. Schoolwork never really was something I liked doing, especially when it came to tests, but I was decent enough to get by. My relationships were very important to me, but not important enough, with much of the time feeling like I was being someone else, not able to show parts of myself, and found solace in either these games or at the time a newfound love for movies and film. Or being busy. I also just kept busy a lot of the time and started just doing other things too. But I was content. I was almost content, I should say. Living two lives, one in isolation and the other surrounded by people, neither feeling full or purposeful. That's when all the time I spent playing these games turned into cope, and my relationships suffered, unable to share true feelings or trueness even with myself. This cycle continues to the point where I even left my desktop at home to focus the next semester, getting the less than remarkable laptop to replace it, but just good enough to still potentially play a little bit of Technic, you know. To be fair, it was my most productive semester. I was on and off seeing somebody, taking time to myself. Finally, began a minor in film and media studies, and I even helped lead a program in Atlanta. And just a note, which I'll say because I wrote it in my script. Even as I write this, I struggle with the middle ground, and I feel like I might lose the plot. But here we go. I also apologize if I'm really nasally right now, but let's keep going. Every time that I opened up Minecraft in a world that I had been in months prior, I remember feeling disconnected from the world that stood before me, one that had been the medium for my passion before. Unfinished mega projects or creeper blown houses that I never fixed, That disconnect is what pushed me into a new world, to start anew, with the passion that made me open the game in the first place. I should say it has always been spur of the moment. Every time that I open up the game, it's like I had been working on something, schoolwork or music, and when I felt either at a good place or worse, when I had a block and couldn't focus, I booted up and see if I could just make something. No plan, just an idea. And it made me realize the idea can only take you so far. As I go around meeting the needs of the mind colonies folks in my town, I see two things. One, the consistency of meeting needs, and two, the task-oriented nature of good work. That unfinished building that I kept running past. As you can see, it just sits unfinished. I never even built walls, not once. And I think it might stay that way, as honestly it is filling my need. I'm afraid that it's been too long and I will lose the will to finish it. And subsequently, the idea that had me started in the first place. But it's just that I believe that if I started, I would just be imbued with the strength to see it through. As if it was the idea itself that was the impetus or catalyst of the will to get it done. You know? And I think that's one thing that Minecraft has really taught me. Just separating those two things is so key on any project that you work on. In many other games, movies, experiences, parts of life, you are being carried along a line, story, log, time, all of them. Yet, in Minecraft, it is fully yours, time and all. The breadth and grandness of the idea is solely up to your ability to meet its demands and be in touch with the love that conjured it up in the first place. And that, for me, is living. That's why I love even the naming of the different modes, because living is distinctly more fulfilling than survival. And once you get past the aspect of survival in Minecraft, once you've fully gotten your diamond, netherite, beaten the ender dragon, and mastered the mechanics of the game, that's when you start. That's when you start your idea. You start building those big projects, building those things you couldn't do because you were too busy just trying to get the resources you needed. When you split yourself between so much, you refuse your goals and the ideas they are tethered to, the time, space, and respect that they need to be realized. I spent all of my time chasing ideas that I neglected the other ones that I love so much. But not just by looking elsewhere, but by also refusing to get past the surviving part. I would get so frustrated at the enormity of the issue. Before building the farms I needed to sustain my town and myself. You have to trust that those ideas you get are as divine as you remember when they first came. And put in the work to treat it right. Whether it is to get in a game of Minecraft, to make a work of art, work toward being prepared to making it real. Once you've grasped it, it is yours. Now, what does that work look like? I'll say this. I knew nothing about any of these mods, automation, basic Minecraft farms, and honestly, even though I've been searching for so long, I still don't think I've learned a whole lot. I refused to challenge myself, and in that, I never reflected on how much I lacked in knowledge. Even outside of Minecraft, where I've seen thousands of films and yet still find myself, having a new film each day. These classics that I haven't seen, or specific details I don't remember, that's part of the work. Just knowing those things and just being confident in what you have and what you're able to do. It's hard to define what it looks like. It's hard to define what you actually have to do, but if I had to take a shot at describing it, It is not allowing yourself to have a problem with no solution. It is allowing yourself to be free in your expression and know where it comes from. Heavy emphasis on that last part, knowing where it comes from. It is knowing that you yourself are a product of work, the good and the bad. And if you consistently remind yourself of that, then you soon embody that you can make the decisions in your life to move past what no longer serves you and towards what will. Sometimes you really just got to tear down that building you made and remake it because it doesn't serve the vision anymore. Live consistently and you will consistently live. You are worth it. Minecraft for me was trying to carve a space for myself where I felt held, seen, and unrestrained. And in my failure to do so or have it in real life, and then constantly be unsatisfied in Minecraft, which was supposed to be my escape, I was left with a void that had me always feeling like I was not living. Just turning off the brain and fulfilling requests. And I'm not gonna lie, there is an odd joy in that. Our toolhood, so to speak. To know that we have purpose. Or to escape into the lives of another who has purpose. I've been cringing with myself this entire video, and I know there's definitely holes, things I've missed. But to those who watched or listened to this point, thank you. This is the affirmation that I know I've struggled so long with. And hopefully you could feel affirmed too. I've listened to or watched too many of these before realizing that what I needed to do was make my own version of it. It's my affirmation to myself too. Take what you will, take your time. I hope that this reaches the right person who has struggled for so long to be in touch with their art and themselves. You deserve to finish what you started. And through the work and being prepared, you will have the skill to do it and then some.